The 90s was the most revolutionary era for video games. We walked into the decade with 16-bit type of games, and we walked out with stuff that was 64-bit and beyond. Platforming video games were just really the games that you played a lot during the 8-bit and 16-bit generation. What happens though when you hit the third dimension? How does that work? Well, with Sony having their new console hit the market in 1994 to 95, they decided to have a game called Jumping Flash hit store shelves. Jumping Flash is a pioneer game. It's known as one of the first 3D platformers to ever exist on planet Earth. It definitely is a fact that a lot of people know of in the retro gaming community nowadays. Jumping Flash was really intended to be a tech demo for this new PlayStation system that came out, being called Springman. It seems they liked it a lot and they decided to make a full-on game for it that was released in 1995, as well as a sequel that came out in 1996. You already know what you're in for in this video. We're going to talk about both Jumping Flash games on the PS1, if they still hold up today, and if you should check them out or not. For anyone thinking, I am aware that there is a third game called Robot Mondu that never came out and it only stayed in Japan. This game is very different enough though that it's going to get its own video someday on this channel. Kick back, get in your Easter Bunny snuggie, let's talk about the Jumping Flash games on the original PlayStation. Jumping Flash came out in the year 1995 for the PS1 in all regions. It was developed by Exact and published by Sony. To sum up Exact, they've gone through a few changes. They eventually became a company called Sugar and Rockets, and then they just got absorbed into Sony to work for Japan Studio. Other games that they've worked on other than Jumping Flash are stuff like Ghost in the Shell, my first review on the channel, and another great game, Covert Ops Nuclear Dawn. Exact, Sugar and Rockets is definitely one of my favorite developers for the system. The game takes place on a place called Crater Planet, and you're Robert, and you're this robotic rabbit. An evil guy named Baron Aloha, he's this guy who looks like he's always on vacation. He's a mad scientist, and he wants to take pieces of the world and separate them all and put them into different little resorts across space. It's you, Robert, who has to go out and get all the pieces of the planet to put it back together and stop good old Baron Aloha's plan. Unlike other platformers, this one's played in a first-person view. You move with the D-pad, pressing up will make you go forward, and pressing back will make you go backwards. X is to jump, and you can actually jump up to 3 times, once off the ground and then twice in the air. Square is to shoot your lasers, and circle is your special weapon. Using R1 and R2 can adjust your camera, and you can actually turn standing still to get better shots at angles. The goal of this game is simple. You'll play through these levels on time limits. You have to collect 4 jet pods in the levels. They're scattered around. Once you get them, you go to the exit launch and you beat the level, move on to the next. Whenever you first start a level, there's a bunch of enemies just hanging around the level, and you can kill them if you want to. Sometimes you can just avoid them. The name of this game absolutely is jumping, and that's definitely the hook of this game because you can jump pretty damn high, honestly. You'll be utilizing the heavy jumping to get around the levels to get the jet pods. You have a very interesting HUD in this game. Looks like you're in a robot, which is pretty cool. And the top left, you got your time limit. If you get to 0 minutes, you die. The middle of the top is this bouncy thing, and what that is it's your jet pod counter. You only have 4 per level, so it'll be highlighted red if you have one. The top right is your score, because every game in the 90s had to have a high score system. Right below that is your mini-map, which is very helpful sometimes too for tracking those jet pods. The very bottom is your health bar, and the middle bottom is your live count. Other than losing time to die, if you lose all your health to die, same outcome. You just restart the level. There are no checkpoints in this game. You've got a decent amount of pickups in this game too. All these power-ups you get, like you get this laser cannon, you get bottle rockets, you get bombs you can use. My favorite one is the power pill. This is pretty much your invincibility star in the game. Everything you touch, it dies. You can even get extension for your time and time stoppers, and it doesn't stop time technically, it just stops enemies from moving. The last thing you run into are bonus stages, and every level just about has one, and you can get them to get extra points and lives. There's 6 worlds in the whole game. You got 2 levels apiece and a boss. World 1 is your grass volcano world, shows you the ropes on how the game plays. World 2 is your desert world. Every platformer has to have one of these. World 3 is your theme park world, probably my favorite world in the game, pretty interesting. Those are just a few examples. This game does a really good job on the scenery though. Nothing revolutionary in terms of settings because it's been done a million times to this point, but still well done. Most of the levels you'll be jumping around all over the place, but there are a couple levels where you're dungeon crawling, and I really like this because you're in a first-person perspective. Why not take advantage of this opportunity to do something like this? It's more about exploration around these places, and hopefully you don't run out of time. The difficulty of this game, I mean, no sweat. This game is a piece of cake to play, but with it being a piece of cake, it does get challenging because if you do beat the game, you unlock an extra mode, and it has more shorter time limits, and the layouts are all different, so there's more challenge there. All the enemies are kind of just more of nuisances. They just kind of get in your way. They're not really a big problem. The boss fights, on the other hand, they're pretty fun. I mean, nothing crazy, but for being the first 3D platformer, it is impressive to see what was done with this one. The first boss is your dragon. He's pretty standard. He just kind of stands there, you kill him. The second boss is a scorpion thing, and he changes forms and stuff. Really cool. I like this clown boss. His head pops out of these teacups or his arms, and you gotta shoot each one, but he'll keep on pulling down, and you'll have to run around the level. It's kind of like whack-a-mole in a way. Definitely an easy game, but nonetheless, it does have some fun value here. Jumping Flash 2 releases 1 year later for the PS1 in all regions, made by the same team. In this game, instead of Baron Aloha being the main villain, it's this giant space god thing named Captain Kabuki. Pretty creepy looking. Jumping Flash has to go and do the same thing pretty much and save all these different worlds. The gameplay is completely unchanged, and honestly, it kind of feels more like DLC than it does a sequel. There were some small additions though. The first change is the interface. It looks a little bit cleaner. I mean, not too much different, but still. You also have these like small achievement things, and kind of cool. This is something you'd see a lot later in the PS3 onward. And also, when you go backwards, you have squealing wheels.
Got him!
Another change I noticed is this game definitely has a whole lot more cutscenes, and I kind of appreciate it because you get to see the moo-moos and stuff, and there's some more humor. It's just a nice touch. As far as the game itself though, seriously, it just feels like the first game, just with different worlds. In this game, instead of getting jet pods, you have to get 4 moo-moos. You have to save them. Those are those little cloud island head looking things. Your first world is Hawaii Island World. This is probably my favorite world in the game. It's a good first world. Second world is Feudal Japan World, and yeah, it's a pretty cool world. This actually has a dungeon crawling level in it as well. The rest of the worlds kind of feels similar to the last game's worlds, like Theme Park World and such. Not necessarily bad or anything. They're definitely fun to play. It just definitely feels more of the same. The bosses in this game, at least in my opinion, they're not as fun as they were in the first game. You know, like the clown boss. You have a clown boss in this game too, but it's 2 of them instead, and it was just fine. This game also has it to where you beat all 6 worlds. You beat the game, you play a second round, and it is a lot harder. I do think they did a better job in this game making it more challenging because you get plenty of time still, but they at least made an effort to kind of do all the layouts completely different. So it's like playing a different level, so I do kind of appreciate that. The big question, is Jumping Flash 1 and 2 worth playing in today's time? Absolutely. Jumping Flash is a very fluid game. It might look a little old, but I mean, hell, if you've played Minecraft before, it kind of looks like that. For a game based in 1995 for being one of the first 3D games, the controls are very good. They got the jumping just right. You're looking ahead of you while you're on the ground, but when you jump, you angle down and you'll know where you're gonna land. That was just a very good call that they made to do that. It's also just a really good in and out type of game. You can jump in, literally, and play for a little bit and then jump out. Jumping Flash 2 is also a good game, but I personally just like the first one more. Nothing bad to say really about the second game, it's just more of the same. Aside the gameplay and graphics, the music is also very good. I mean, here's a few tunes for you to listen to so you get a taste. My really only complaint that I have with Jumping Flash is I wish you could strafe better. You can only strafe if you're in mid-air jumping and shooting. I wish you could hold like R2 or something and strafe side to side while shooting. That's about the only thing I find wrong with Jumping Flash. If you're like me and you only played stuff like Crash, Croc, or Spyro growing up and you missed out on this one, you gotta play the Jumping Flash games. Good and bad news to play this game. So the good news is Jumping Flash 1 is only $10 on the PS5 store, so if you don't have a PS1 or anything and you just like to play only on modern systems, that's a very good way to play that game. However, the second game did not get so fortunate to get on the store, so if you want to own these games physically, they're pretty steep, at least for the first game. It's like over 100 in America, and then the second game's like 50. Power Region versions are kind of the same kind of price in a way. Personally though, I think $50 is a good deal for Jumping Flash 2. Yeah, it's a short game, but it's a good game, so at least you know you're getting something decent. That's all I've got to say about the Jumping Flash games. It's always a fun time to come visit these. They're very quick, to the point, and just a good old time. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you have anything to say, leave a comment down below. I'd love to hear what you got to say about Jumping Flash, the Easter Bunny, or do you like Trick cereal? Until next time, y'all take it easy.